right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my neighbors. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Actually, I'm missing one more light. Let's get this light on. Okay, perfect. If you do not have a trading community, by all means, come down to Chico. We are going to open our trading floor at 8 a.m. and there is a lot of news that's coming out today. So I do suggest you come check us out. We're gonna be lit up like a Christmas tree at freaking 8:30. There's so much noise, especially tomorrow. If you don't know, you know, if you know, you know. Let me leave it as that. So Twitter, Instagram, down below. You want the education? Come check us out. That's in there as well. Don't forget hit the rocket button. The rocket is the one that lets the TradingView algorithm know that I'm actually giving you some sound information. And last but not least, my YouTube channel is down there as well. If you watch it from YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit the comment button. Let me know what you think in the whole nine, and let's go ahead and get started. Right? Okay. So the first thing I want to kind of wrap my head around is the fact that NQ, right, the bad boy right there, has been doing some things that, to a certain sense, I did kind of predict. We talked about the 385 level. We talked about the 500 level. We talked about everything under the sun when it comes down to it. And if you really think about it, it's important that you plan everything. I kind of did that with the end of the week mindset. Midweek mindset, and I was explaining how planning is so important. And let me just send this out. And it's very important that you plan everything out, because if you don't plan everything out, guess what? You plan to fail. I promise you that. But if we remember how we talked about this on the chart, you'll see that NQ is on its downward trend. Was this a break of the trend? In some time frames it was, but if you look at it on a daily, it just looks like we kind of reached to try to see if we can break the trend line, but we didn't close above it. The first candle did, but the second candle, they came and liquidated everybody. So when we come to the granular time frames, like your 1 minute, your 30 minutes, your 5 minutes, it just looks like a trend that just got retested, and then guess what? It came right back down because they failed to break what? This one right here, that high. So a lot of sellers were sitting right here, and they probably repositioned themselves along the lines of this. So they probably dropped here, took their money out, came back, and then they bought some more right here, and they continued to that downside. This is what you have to kind of anticipate, and I do teach a little bit of a psychology background as far as how trades kind of go when it's all said and done. But if we look at this 1 hour, you can see it's like a nice little choppy up. It's slowly trying to work its way up. But on the daily, we have such a wide imbalance right here that it almost asks you this question: how much recovery do they have to do before they can actually get back on an uptrend? Right now, don't get it twisted, this still can be considered an uptrend. You see how the cheat code algo kind of has an uptrend. This is a daily uptrend. We have a deviation of that uptrend right here. So this whole area with this morning star could be a nice area of support and then continue back up to the upside. Very, very possible. But what we do know is that at this point we are inside of an imbalance. They can try to fill the imbalance. There might be some bulls that are sitting right at the crossroads here. Let me go ahead and put a horizontal line here, and they're probably waiting for it to get to that deep discount so that way they can go ahead and make some real money. Let's go ahead and put a fib. Here's a fib right here. Where does that line sit? That line sits just above the 50% mark. All right, well, Jeffrey, Fibonacci is something that, a lot of people use, and, everybody is, and it's very subjective, and this are the things that I hear when it comes out to Fibonacci. Well, I don't use Fibonacci. Well, look, I'm going to show you something about Fibonacci, because everything has to revert back to the mean. So which uptrend, or which part of the uptrend you want to use? Let's go ahead and use this uptrend. Here is this one. All right, where's my line now? My line is coming close to a 382 retracement that it could bounce off of. That is a possibility as well. Good morning. Welcome. By all means, if you want to go ahead and put any tickers in the chat, go ahead. You can. All right, let me go ahead and put this one. How about this? Right? This is the Fibonacci, right? It comes out. Maybe they come for the 236 and then bounce from there. Look, at the end of the day, we are traders. We are not in the market to make sure we're right or wrong. But I am going to point you in a direction to see what the possibilities are, and if it presents itself as such, or you see something that you see that follows your strategy and plan, you make the money on it. But at the end of the day, this is what I see. There could be a whole downtrend that brings us to the golden ratio of 618 on this overall trend here. Oh well, Jeff, the overall trend didn't start all the way over here. It really started all the way back here. And listen, we want to go ahead and talk about leaps. We can do that all day. I'm not going down that road, but I will tell you this: at the end of the day, currently, based on the 1 hour, that's why I always use the 1 hour, we are in a downtrend. We got a death cross to the downside, and we are overbought over here. What is the daily doing? This is giving me an extra confluence. They want to get to this to the oversold side. These are the things that you have to, when you're doing your top-down analysis, you want to make sure that you have all that in line. All right, so let's go ahead and get deeper into the weeds. I'm looking for NQ to open up probably a little bit above this level, but I don't think they're going to take out any of these highs here. So I'm looking for 17,500 to be a strong resistance point. So whatever was support turns into resistance, and I'm looking for that one to turn into resistance. So keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and keep this going. Let's go to oil. Well, oil, on the other hand, I wanted this thing under $70. It will not give me my wishes. I may have to draw my lines over, but the good thing is it started breaking that uptrend line, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to start going ahead and just dropping off the face of the earth, right? But we did make a lower low. So remember when I told you about this, I think it was either Tuesday or yesterday. We have a nice little downtrend. It's a potential downtrend, but we're not even sure if it's going to be a full-on downtrend when it's all said and done, right? But guess what? Wednesday came in. That made a lower low from this peak. So we need 0.1, lower low, lower high. That's what our potential downtrend is. Now we can call this an official downtrend. So let's go ahead and fix that line right there. That is now an official downtrend. So you can wait for the third touch where it comes and touch this line. I'm going to extend this out so that way on Tuesday next week, we'll be able to kind of look at this and see if this actually holds its footing the way I think it's going to do. But let's just look at this. So we're sitting on top of a bullish order block. You can see that right there, right? This order block is trying to push this up. Also, we're under the 50 EMA, and we look like we're using the 200 EMA as support as well. Hey, good morning. What's going on? What's going on? So yeah, I'm looking for, at this point, since we broke this uptrend, where is the next support or the next pivot? It's all the way down here. This is the point where this uptrend is completely destroyed, and we're going to get a full chase down to my bump and run line, which will bring us to $72. I can see somewhere along the lines, and if anyone ever studied geometry, talk about if this never breaks, if this continues, that means we're probably talking about somewhere in the middle of February where we're going to go ahead and see this try to make a bounce. I would not say stay bullish on oil. I wouldn't say just go ahead and buy some long-term puts on oil, but I would say if it's respecting this downward trend line, there is a strong possibility we should be getting under $75 probably sometime next week, going into the second week of February. All right, so all right, let's go ahead and keep the party going. Now the next one is gold. I love gold. All right, so I know I talked about gold. We had contract expiration, so there's this void of space right here. All voids get filled, even with contract expirations. I started noticing that a lot when it came down to gold and what was the other one? Natural gas. They always fill somehow. It might not be right then and there. It might be a few months, few years, whatever, but it tends to fill anyway. So this void itself, I am not going to be bullish on gold at all. As you notice, I had a bullish line. I was looking for it to hold, and thank God I did not take that trade, right? 2063 would be bullish. Then we could go ahead and take some more attacks at this imbalance right here and probably get back to that 21, that infamous 2151 when we went straight parabolic back in December. But until then, I consider this areas of pressure. And you see, as soon as we got up to 26.3, we tried to get into that imbalance. Everybody sold the house. And and we continue to this downtrend. So I think what the next thing gold is trying to do is maybe test 2034, 35, somewhere around here, get back to this upward trend line that was formed over here, and maybe take a bounce. But right now, the potential downtrend that I drew over here, that one's gone. That's not a downtrend. The potential downtrend that was over here, that's not there. That is gone. Right, so these are the things that you kind of mark out when you annotate on your chart, so that way you can get a little bit of an idea. So what I'm looking for gold is to just fill this entire void. Maybe if it closes inside of the void, I probably would play this, maybe, possibly, but we'll just have to see if this thing's going to give us a complete trend. But if we look at the daily lets us know that it's starting to show a little bit of weakness, and it got a little bit of a hitch, little bend on the elbow, like it's almost like it kind of a little tired of trying to make that run to the upside. So I want to see gold go ahead and fill that void and come down. All right, I don't think I see any real support other than this 2050, 2048 level. So if you're going to play gold and you're doing intraday, above 2050, probably could play to the upside as they try to take a little bit inside this imbalance. But I do feel like they're building an order block here. Call the order block whatever you want. You can call it wick order block. Let me go ahead and change this up so that way you can see it. Wick order block, maybe just off the wicks. It could be a doji order block because they're taking this entire doji when we reject it right here, and they consider that area as an order block. It could be jambalaya rice order block. This looks like jambalaya rice order block. All of these order blocks are sitting right here. So I would say intraday, you could probably find some trends. Daily, listen. Do not get your face ripped off. All right, just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and keep this moving on. Silver. So silver was dragging gold all over the place when it was all said and done. But oh, look at that! Look at that! So I readjusted my arrow because I was really curious how deep they were going to get inside of the imbalance before they started rejecting. If we look at this chart, you can see that we had the uptrend. I knew the uptrend was going to try to test it. I think I had the last time it was roughly like 50% before it gets to that main part, but then I readjusted this I think roughly on Wednesday, and I was like, maybe they're looking to get back up to here, but you could see they're not even waiting for that anymore. We got a nice double top right here at this level, right at the auto fib. Cheat code algo provided the 2344 level as a potential rejection area, and guess what it did? There she blows back down to the downside. For those that are probably like, well, it's an M pattern, I should go ahead and jump in right now. Hold on, star, hold on. All right, hold on. All right, here's the neckline right here, roughly here or here, depending on how you want to look at it. I kind of want to call it this one because of these wicks here, but let's just call it this one. Let's just be safe, right? Here's our neckline. Oops, let me put that back. And here's our breakout. They already did 100% of the move. All right, that's 100% of the move, and the momentum is what's carrying it into other imbalances. Let me mark out some of them for you just in case you want to go ahead and try to play that. Here's one right here. That is bullish. And then here is another right here. That is bullish. And then they're probably going to try to get all the way down to maybe here because that is bullish based on the 1 hour, right? These are probably the areas that they're targeting. I would not try to short it right now. It's already in the bottom. Let's go to the 4 hour. Oh, do you think you should short this? All right, let's go to the daily. Maybe the daily, but I would say this is such an impulsive candle on the daily. Let me get rid of the annotation so you can see it. Such an impulsive candle on the daily. We're coming to an auto fib. Maybe wait for a retracement. There is a death cross here, but this maybe is just not the time for you to try to short it right now. But we'll see what happens when it's all said and done. I might be completely wrong. All right, let's go to the British pound right now. So the British pound, like I said, it's been completely detached from the rest of the market. Look at what NQ is doing like this, and British pound is just barcoding all over the place. It's just annoying the crap out of it. It was very attached and it was doing adverse setups, but right now the British pound has been in this consolidation cycle and it's been annoying the crap out of me. I have not used it as an indicator like I did earlier or towards the end of last year. But if we look at the British pound now, it looks like it's having trouble just completely falling. So it has imbalances that they're trying to sit under. Not all of them have filled with the bearish ones. You had a nice little bullish one that happened here, and they came right through it. So now they kind of rebalance here. So all of this is pretty much moot at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this, this, and this, because they filled and everything is balanced. The only thing that hasn't been filled is this order block that's down here, and they're trying their best to hold it up. And this is a bullish order block. Yes, it is a bullish order block that started back here on December 13th. So with this bullish order block, and we're sitting right on top of it, I would say, if anything, this is what's holding up the market a little bit, because they're putting pressure on the dollar every time it keeps rising and popping up. Maybe that's why we're getting so much volatility out of the dollar, and we're just not getting that true flow to the downside. Plus, we got earnings reports and all of this stuff. So there's a lot of catalysts, and they're all working in sync with each other to try to figure out which way do we go now. All right, so just keep that in mind. As far as the British pound, we're getting a lot of volatility there. So let's go ahead and keep this moving. The next one we're going to talk about is natural gas. Natural gas has been it's been doing a little bit of what I was expecting. I don't know if y'all remember, I drew this line based on 2 points yesterday. Let me bring the full chart so you can see that. So yesterday I put these 2 points, just this. That's all this trend line was built on, and it had a nice little move to the upside. If you were able to take this, that was about 88, 97 ticks. I did not play it. I was focused on NQ, and you can see we're wedging against it. So if you're still holding on to this position, or you repositioned yourself, yeah, you should be sitting really, really pretty as far as how much tickage you're taking from there. The tickage, is that a word? Tickage, like cabbage? I don't know. Anyway, so let's see if we can get this thing to cross back up on the 1 hour. I would like to see it fill this imbalance, but because we are going into that part of the season where natural gas usually falls, I don't know if it's going to get to these Fibonacci levels. Maybe come back up to here and then reject, but eventually we're going to fill the entire thing of it. But overall, I do like where natural gas is. I think it's at its lowest point. Maybe if we get a 1 hour crossover to the upside again, going into that gap, we'll probably could test the 200 at the very least. So let's go ahead and mark out some levels. Let's call it this one, the current 200, or where this Fibonacci level is sitting. And yeah, probably those are the ones that I'm probably looking at. I would say this one, but I think with a proper amount of momentum, looking like we did a whole entire build-up. Let me do that right. Look like we did a whole entire build-up and compressing price, and we got a nice little breakout that just continued this way. So I can see natural gas trying to get into that gap if this holds the level here. Let me call this bullish. Oops. What did this? Bullish. There we go. Right, and this will be my bullish line, looking for this thing to continue to that upside. All right, let's go ahead and keep this party going. So we got the Russell. The Russell has been doing its thing, leading off the indicator. If you don't chart the Russell, I do suggest that you do. Does this look like this? That right there don't look like this. I don't do that no more, but I do this with that look like that. So the Russell kind of gives a little bit of an indicator. It's letting us know what is going on over there. I think the Russell is trying to fill the rest of its imbalance over here, and if it does do that, there is a possibility we could get a nice little spring up. I don't know if it's going to go all the way back to 2000, but I can see this thing taking a nice little spike to the upside a little bit, maybe hit its head at the 250 where the depth cross is starting to show, and then just continue its way back downtown. All right, so that's one way of looking at it. Let's look at it on a wide scale. Yeah, nice wide megaphone looking type of pattern, especially where not on the top of an uptrend, but you could kind of call this the uptrend itself, and that it's just being exhausted. And is there a possibility it will come all the way back down? Let's throw a fib on this. Let's put that fib right there. All right, so we got to 618 and did a bounce, and we're at the 382. So can the 382 hold it down and put some pressure to continue to the downside? Maybe. But if we look at the daily, this is what it looks like, and it does not tell me that I am, or I should be playing this to the upside. If anything, this could be retracement. Could it break out and continue up and continue this channel that the cheat code algo is making with the trend lines? Possibly, but to be honest, this is not a play I would want to when the stochastic is going against me. So I would say stay away from that, leave that one alone, and we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. We're going to go ahead and go over to the dollar. Now here comes the dollar. Now, it has not done what I was looking for. It has not. I think they went ahead and rose up the price of the market a little bit because they know they're going to get the rest of this imbalance. What is this imbalance? This imbalance is something that I built off of. Was it? Nope, not the daily. Not that. It must have been the 1 hour. It really must have been the 1 hour. Let me squeeze this in. Yeah, I think it was the 1 hour. So we had a nice imbalance that came from this point all the way to this point, but we stopped right here, and ever since then it's been a resistance area as they fill in all those sell orders. Here comes one of those areas here. They tried to get up in there. They tried to get up in here. This is the most we've ever been when it's all said and done, and then out of nowhere they try to get it again, and we created almost a double top. That's what that drop, and we started rallying in the market. Look, I'm just saying like this. I hear y'all. I know y'all want the market to just stay in one direction up like it's 2020 all over again. I'm just saying at the end of the day, if the dollar gets through this point, I'm not saying that it's going to fill all the way up to the top and then reject, but you got to see what the market gives you when that's done, okay? So just keep that in mind. So now we're back here again. This is now the third time. Are the people that's selling going to try to sell it again? Is there going to be some catalyst or some news out there like Nvidia's earnings, or well, actually Nvidia's earnings I think is in mid-February. What is going to drive the market to push right back up? That's the only thing that could probably drop the dollar and make this thing come back. It'll be a triple top, but I'm more leaning on the fact that this could be a potential double bottom at this level, knowing that the dollar needs to kind of like reset itself. If we go over to the weekly, this is what I've been staring at, and I've been like, the dollar just needs to get through its 50% mark. Even if it doesn't go something parabolic like back in, I don't know, 2022. I think that's the most we get, 2022. I don't think we're going to get that far, but at the very least, maybe test here so that we can drop the market a little bit further. So I'm looking at this in such a wider scale that I'm just like, it's time to kind of like hit reset. Let this thing kind of cool down, come up, and then I don't know where it's probably going to rise because the weekly is looking really, really scrumptious to the upside, just a lot of consolidation. All right, so that is that. Let's go ahead and get into some tickers. I don't see Casey on here, but I will just go ahead and cover something that he brought up. I can't remember what was the levels exactly. Actually, let me see if I can find, because this thing is tricky finding old videos. I think I gotta go to profile. So if you don't know who Casey is, Casey comes in, he chimes in, he brings tickers, he brings his levels, and we put it against the cheat code algo to kind of get a little bit of an insight of what he may be thinking. Actually, no, this is not it. I just closed the wrong thing. I'm telling you, this thing. In TradingView, there's got to be a way I can look at my previous videos a little bit faster than this. All right, there we go. I think I found it now. All right, so he was looking at AZO. He was looking for an entry upside of 28.59. It never gave it to him, right? So this is a good fold. But the reason why I was so adamant on not agreeing with his stop loss when it was all said and done was because, unfortunately, based on the stop loss that he was looking for, his stop loss, he was looking for 2,600. This was almost a guarantee that we could get down to 2,600. We got a couple of imbalances. If we look at the oscillators, the MACD is pointing down, this is pointing down, stochastic, and we were starting to get a little overheated, right? This is a bearish divergence right here. So if Casey, if you're watching this video, this is one of the main reasons why I was a little adverse to your stop loss. If this was going to invalidate the bearish divergence and I was going to take that play, then I would want to see this thing hold levels and have this imbalance. Let me come back and zoom in. Have this imbalance, hold it exactly there and continue. So if it gets past that 50% mark, get out the way. So I don't know if you took the trade. I don't think you did because it had to break above 28.59. That had to happen. But I would love to know what you did when it's all said and done. And the other one you gave us was AFLAG. Again, the market was in the middle of a relative sell-off. Here, your entry was at 85.82. right? So 85, 82, this is why I said the cheat code entry is the place where you want to be. But would you get in after seeing such a massive candle like this? No, you wouldn't get in there. And even though it kind of showed like it's trying to channel its way for an uptrend, look what it's doing pre-market. And why did that happen? Again, it's showing these uptrend. So here's our spike right here. Kind of flattish. And then you had this. Another bearish divergence. So these are the divergences that was like standing out. I said the entries would be great here. This one did get above your level, 85, 82. I don't know if you took out your stop a little earlier, but I would say right now you're starting to get stop loss at 82.60. Overnight, you probably get it liquidated. So you pretty much opening the market and closing out. So these are what's really important. So when you're doing your analysis, and hopefully this can help you tweak your setups when it's all said and done, I would suggest that you look at your entries. Of course, I would suggest the cheat code algo, right? Because the entry level was right here, and it would have been less of a loss than getting it all the way up here at 859, thinking the momentum would take you to 87.50. But when you're doing your analysis, you just make sure that you're getting some support. And right now, I'm seeing a lot of balanced out candles on the daily. And even if you're getting leaps, you want to be closer to this and this price, roughly, because this is where the supporters are. And it looks like this is where we're hitting the brakes right now. All right, so just to kind of give you an idea, and everyone that's watching this video, how do you plot out your levels and plot out your trades? Candles like this just shows that they agree. Doji order block. This is the one that I was thinking that we probably would hit a breaks at, because we've used that. What was support? What was resistance? Turned into support here. They broke through a little bit. They held it for a little bit. Morning or evening star came in, dropped down, came back above it, tried to hold it, couldn't. And this is like the third time of them trying to hold it. So that's the reason why I stuck with this area as a potential of holding it up. And you see what it took. It took pre-market to knock them completely out. And now we got to cross the MACD, cross the stochastic. This thing's probably going to make its way up beeline all the way into maybe down to these levels here. Somewhere around 78. Of course, $80 is going to be a psychological level. That's probably going to be a place to play with. But overall, this is the areas that it's probably looking for. Before we get out of here, I want to just talk about a couple of tech stocks. Let's talk about Tesla. So Tesla, of course, I was a little bullish on it. Let me come to the 1 hour. And the only reason I was bullish was when we kind of made this major drop, I was looking for them to break out of this area. And I want to say, yeah, I did not have this. Yeah, I think it was right around this point, right? So what I was looking for was for Tesla. I'm going to try to find the video. I think I recorded it on my hard drive, but I never published it. But I was looking for this downtrend, and then I was looking at the fact that we kind of created an uptrend. So I felt like we was wedging, and then there was that nice little explosion here. We closed above at 10:30. You needed the retracement, so you could have made some really good money if you just waited for the retracement or took the momentum. That would have been about a $4 move, 4 deviations closer into the money. Next morning it popped up. But here's what I was saying inside of that video. I want to say I did it on my hard drive. We was coming close to the $200 psychological level, and plus Tesla earnings was not great, right? So it was going to take a miracle, put this as general, it was going to take a miracle for it to get back to that 200 level. I did not think it would reject at 196, but you can see that they're coming back to test the buy level or my bullish line in itself. And I would say I would not be bullish until it breaks the sell signal here on this 1 hour. Don't even waste your time at this point. Yes, did it pop up? Absolutely. But let's look at the oscillators. We're south of the zero line. This could continue with some momentum. Yes, we were coming out of the reversal box, but we couldn't get past the zero line. We can't even get out of its own way. So right now, the stochastic is pointing straight down again. Tesla does not look like anything ready for an upside. Yes, the daily does. So I think this whole entire area, let's take this doji. I'll call this a doji order block. So you may have this as a support area as a whole, but generally speaking, it doesn't look like Tesla is going to recover and go into this gap anytime soon. And even if it did, look at what it has to contend with to try to get past it to start that uptrend again. So I feel like the risk to reward right now on Tesla is more on the downside. Yes, I'm sorry to Elon. I am also a Tesla owner as well. But at the end of the day, it does look like this is what we're looking at as an April. Until that trend breaks, I would say Tesla's going to go down. Last one is going to be Nvidia, so I can go open my floor. Nvidia, it is chugging along, right? And I think why it's doing that is because some of the semiconductors are doing well. I think it was Sun Micro, or some obscure company where none of us really watch that does semiconductors. They're starting to power up, so the space is powering up. I'm looking at the fact that this uptrend just fails to break. Yes, they tested it here yesterday, but right now it's pushing up pre-market. I think they're going to try to take one more shot at that 635. I don't think they'll be successful because this is the oscillators that you're dealing with. Let me zoom this out a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But you do not count Nvidia out. You can just see the bearish divergence is just slowly building. So there is going to be an explosion to the downside. I'm looking at a possible 618 before you get a bounce. So let's just go ahead and take a nice little Fibonacci here to here. So I'm thinking somewhere around 535. So that is a $100 discount on Nvidia when it's all said and done. Oh, let's not get so aggressive. Let's see. I would say they're going to try to first slow it down at 50. Maybe between 573 to 554. All right, so let me just go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you very much for taking the time and jumping in here. If you like this video, by all means, hit the little rocket on TradingView. That's how they get the algorithms, letting them know that I give some really good information. And TradingView can go ahead and put me on top of the list, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. But my YouTube, I am looking for more subscribers and also likes. So that way that algorithm kind of plays a part as well. So the link is down below for my YouTube. I do a lot of mindset stuff inside of there. Twitter, Instagram, the links is down below. And if you don't have a trading community and you're like, what the hell is a cheat code? Come over to cheat code. I got to go open my floor at 8 a.m. You don't have to trade by yourself. We trade futures, we talk about options, we really kind of bounce around all over the place, but mostly it is futures, especially the NASDAQ. So I would love for y'all to go ahead and join me over there as we go ahead and try to take these tickets and get into the news. Oh my God, I didn't go over news with y'all. All right, well, if you want to know about news, come to my trading floor because I got to go ahead and open that floor. I bid you a fond farewell. Thank you again for joining in, and you have a great day, my neighbors. Later.